with Bob Welch. What are you, the editor of Spin to Win? Or?
Yeah, I'm the official title is Deputy Editor of Spin to Win.
Deputy Dog.
That's right. I do some TV work freelance on the side. Spin to Win lets me do a little TV work too. And yeah, Rodeo Media.
Cool. So we're gonna interview the interviewer. You always give us the questions, and now you get to be asked the questions. So what's some of your most memorable moments in your Spin to Win time? How many years you been with them?
I've been with Spin to Win for 10 years now.
10 years, wow.
Yeah, it's gone by fast. You know, it's funny. There's been a lot of memorable moments. I would say my most memorable rodeo media moment actually didn't come with Spin to Win. When Strand Smith won the world. Mm-hmm. At the NFR, I'm down there with Jennifer. Mm-hmm. I got to tell Jennifer that Strand had officially won the world. Yeah. And seeing everything that they had battled through. Yeah. And then I got to be there when she got to tell him that he won the world. And as they're going on camera to do the winter interview on ESPN, I mean, we're like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. He pulls me aside. He looks me in the eye. He says, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Yes, you won. Get in there. You got to take this. You got to get this interview." And it was probably the most exciting, special moment of my life, just because of the relationship I developed with them.
I remember that on TV too. It was, I mean, like they're crying and they're just like can't believe it, and it was really cool to see, because that was almost reality TV right there. I mean, you're in the moment. She's the commentator, but yet your husband just won the world, and it's like they both can't believe it and they're crying, and it was cool. It was cool to watch.
Yeah.
What about worst rodeo bloopers that you've done on it interviewing that you wish you could have took back?
Yeah, exactly. See, and here's the good thing about magazine work. You can interview somebody and fumble all over yourself, and then fix it in the story. It doesn't matter. Right. It doesn't matter much. And even a lot of the feature interviews I do for TV, you can still fix stuff up. But the most humbling one, and most embarrassing one, I was interviewing Bill Yetbauer, and he was nearer to the end of his career than the beginning. Right. And everybody knows what a great, nice guy Bill is. Well, I kind of insinuated, when are you going to hang those spurs up, Billy? And I'd never seen him. He was polite, kind, but I saw the hackles raise on Bill Yetbauer that in a way I'd never, ever seen before. He said, I'm not done. I'm not done. He went to a couple more finals after that. Mm-hmm. And I felt lower than worm dirt, and it really showed me the competitive nature of you guys out here. And I have to say one other very, very special moment included you after Riley's tragic death, and the fact that you gave me that interview, and kind of being able to have you take me through that, and being able to learn the perspective that you had after that, it blew me away. Those kinds of stories are the ones that get me. The big picture, the real life stories. It's fun when people win, but man, that was a moving moment that I remember.
Right. It's funny how the winning and losing comes and goes, but the relationships that you gain throughout rodeo career, even from your perspective, you're behind the scenes, doing all the interviews and stuff, giving the articles that everybody gets to see and read, but you develop relationships. Everybody likes to see you coming because they just won something.
Right.
And so like when you and Kendra both, anytime I see y'all or I get a phone call, I'm like, yes, I won something. So it's pretty cool. We all want to see you guys, but you develop those relationships over time, and it's pretty, like you said, 10 years, and it seems like it's been 3 or 4 years.
It's wild. It's really, really wild. But and I don't live the lifestyle with you guys, but I feel like there's a certain amount of guys who I am friends with, and who I know if I needed anything, not just an article. If I was stranded in Stevensville, I know who I'd call. Right. And those are the kinds of things that have made a difference for me and made it real special for me. It's just a wonderful industry. It really is. And the family and friendship really
tight-knit family
Yeah.
kind of lifestyle. What about, do you do anything else besides rodeo that, what do you do with your time when you're not doing interviewing people for rodeo and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, sure. I grew up on a ranch. I grew up ranching, and I run yearlings in the summer. Me and my brothers partner on a little jag yearlings that we just take in over the summers. And I've got two brothers. One's in charge of putting the cattle together. I'm in charge of taking care of them through the summer, and the other brother's kind of in charge of marketing, the hedging, and the sales. And it's a real great partnership. It's a lot of fun.
That's cool.
I don't arena rope a lot, but I get to rope in the pasture a lot and talk in the pasture. And, my whole family's getting involved in that more and more. So
That's what I was going to ask you next, is if you rope or, any of that. I didn't know if you roped or not or what. I mean, you're around it all the time because of what you do, but I didn't know if you actually roped or not or what.
I grew up showing cutting horses, and a cutting horse you want back off the cow all the time, and so that feel is really ingrained in me. And I've noticed when I've team roped, not a lot, but when I've started team roping some, my horses get moving more than I'm comfortable. They get more forward motion than I'm comfortable with.
Not enough rate.
Not enough rate, and so I rope when I have to doctor something in the pasture. But I have noticed, and this is I'm going to spin to wind's horn here. I have noticed when I arena rope, I don't want to say it's easy because I know the level at which you guys rope is something I'll never get to, but it's fun and I really enjoy it, and like I say, I don't do it a lot, but I feel like I've learned so much about the sport and how to do it that when I do occasionally rope out of the box, it's like, oh man, I know this, I get this, yeah, and I'll never be a great roper, but I sure enjoy it. It's a lot of fun, and just kind of having that body of knowledge is fun.
Yeah, the first step's knowing it, and then the second step's actually implementing it.
Yeah.
I always tell everybody at schools, the first step is actually getting the knowledge to, and so the cool thing is you get all the knowledge from everybody in the roping industry, and you get to pick everybody's brain, and you listen in even if you weren't interested.
Yeah, and I am. 10 years of putting articles together and trying to understand what you guys do and give it to our readers.
Right.
I mean, it's so, it's in me. I've got it, a little bit. So
That's cool. That's why y'all do such a good job of putting out a good magazine that everybody is interested in, because you can put the story. Seems to me like y'all put the story in perspective from a reader standpoint. They're reading it, and it actually you can almost be there during the interview, or you're almost as a reader you're almost talking to that person rather than being a step back from it, you know what I mean? And I feel like that's what y'all do good with Spin to Win, is you bring the articles from a perspective so that the reader can understand it, and it's something that the readers would want to ask.
Well, I really appreciate you saying that, because that's what we strive for. I mean, as a journalist, your job is to step back and let the story tell itself, let the lesson tell itself, let the subject tell the story. My role as a journalist, and there's different levels of journalism and different perspectives and angles, but my role is to let you guys tell our readers what to do, and I try to stay out in the middle of it. And I'm not looking for any fame or anything, right. So it's good to hear that. I hope that's something we can, a tone, a voice we can continue in the magazine.
That's cool, because the behind the scenes, people a lot of times don't realize how much y'all do behind the scenes, and I mean, from my standpoint, you almost just think that stuff just appears in the magazine or it just appears on TV, and there's so much behind the scenes stuff that we see going on back here at the NFR or at the different places, to get all that different footage and to get everything, and from a reader from this interview standpoint, it's kind of almost going backwards on the chain, but it's neat to hear from your perspective what it takes. And so for somebody wanting to get into journalism, what would you say that would be one of the biggest things, the most important things to get into that and to be successful in?
Sure. Obviously, in this day and age, you've got to get a college degree in journalism to get down with somebody. But I would say the thing that helped me the most is my first 2 years I worked at the PRC out of college, and I put out the weekly press release. I helped write for the sports news, but I also helped with the weekly press release. So I was on a deadline, and I had to churn out copy. I had to write something, and it had to mean something. because everybody read it. It wasn't right. I heard about it. And if you can put yourself in that situation where you're forced to churn out copy and you're forced to really write, get your thoughts together, learn to tell a story, to get a point across on deadline, it's much easier as you go forward and write more full-length kind of stories. So that would be my advice. Put yourself in the pressure cooker and figure out, get on a daily newspaper or something covering high school sports and learn to write on deadline. And then you can spread your wings and change your style a little bit. But you've always got that base.
And it would have to help, I would think, to be in a field that you really are passionate about or that you come from, rather than going totally into a field that you know nothing about or that you really don't have that passion for. Would you agree? I
would agree. I've seen, over the years, I've seen people come into rodeo journalists. Most of them don't have a whole lot of rodeo background, but you can see them fall in love with the sport. Mm-hmm. And that's cool to me to see. However, find something you love to write about, because that makes it easier. It's easy to do the research. It's easy to make that call to that famous person who you're nervous to talk to. But if you love it, it's easy to do those things and put in the work that would be hard if it was a subject you weren't interested in.
That's what I tell everybody in rodeo, having to do for work, and I think it relates to your deal, is no matter what the subject is, I think that you have to have a love for whatever it is that you're doing to be great at it. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people that are good at it, but they don't have the passion for it to ever be great at it. So same thing with what you're talking about.
I think so.
Give me one, your biggest in-awe moments. Was there ever an in-awe moment of you having to call somebody up or do an interview with somebody that, you're just like, oh my gosh, this is whoever?
Sure. When I started with Spin to Win, Kendra Santos, of course, has been there since the very first issue. When I started with Spin to Win, and I knew Kendra through my work with PRCA before. So when I came on with Spin to Win, I said, Kendra, I'd like to call Jake and Clay and just introduce myself and just tell them, I'm not, she was still going to be doing all the work with them. I just want to introduce myself as a new staff member. And both those guys were just like, hey, welcome aboard. And it was, it was nerve-wracking to call them and say, just kind of introduce myself. And I had not known them when I was at the PRCA. They weren't. Those couple of years they hadn't been rodeoing a lot, so I didn't really ever get a chance to meet them. And so, the timing-wise, they were back at it, and they're just such good guys. Right. Just top to bottom, and I don't know if I was in awe as much as I was just, well, maybe I was awestruck by how normal they were.
Right.
It wasn't like, I wasn't awestruck by their ability to work anything. I was awestruck by how normal they were. And, starting with those two guys, it made calling everybody else like...
It's downhill from here.
I talked to Jake and Clay, so I didn't talk to anybody. So.
Yeah. What two better guys could you ever have to call as your first guys to really get on board, because they're just great Christian, normal guys. I told everybody that they would all, people would always ask when I wrote with Clay, how does it rope with Clay? How's it, what about he's this and this and that? What kind of guy is he? I'm like, shoot, puts his pants on just like everybody else. I said, you would be amazed if you ever get to be around him and actually carry on conversation with him. He's just like everybody else. He's got his issues, he's got his problems, he's got his shortfalls, he's got everything that everybody else has, he has too, but everybody's put him up on a pedestal for so long, and Jake too, because they were icons of team roping for so long. So, well, that's cool. That's neat that you get to realize that from a total different perspective. And
well, I would like to say Spin to Win has just been unbelievably blessed to have those two men on the masthead for its entire history. You look at other sports and guys fall in and out of fame and out of controversy. Right. And what those two guys
just even their whole life.
Yeah. What two better guys could you have as role models? And you said they don't need to be put up on a pedestal, but if somebody's going to put a couple guys up on a pedestal as a way to, if you're a young guy wanting to be a roper, hey, those two guys.
Right.
And you, and there's a lot of guys.
No, I mean, I agree. The thing about those two guys is all of us that looked up to those guys when we were growing up. I mean, Bucky, I'm roving with Bucky Campbell now, and Bucky said the same thing yesterday. We were going to Jackpot, and he's like, hey, if it ain't Clay Cooper, I mean, I don't look up to a lot of people or whatever, and I think a lot of people rode great, but Clay Cooper's always going to be the man in my opinion. And that's the same way with me. I roped with him. I had the fortunate, ability to be able to rope with him and stuff, but, and he's one of my best friends, and, but still, he's the man as far as for me as healers go.
Yeah.
Always will be. So, but more than that, he's just such a great Christian guy, and Jake too, and that's cool that Spin and Win had the opportunity. Number one, they were smart enough to get them. Number two, they were fortunate enough to be able to keep them, and smart enough to be able to keep them, because, like you said, those guys are, they'll always be in Team Roper's eyes, I think, the guys. Speed and Rich actually won 8 gold buckles and whatever, but I just think that, and not to take anything away from Speed and Rich, but I just think that Jake and Clay, the personality, their Christian walk, their roping ability, they were the first ones to dominate the sport like they did as a team. And so all those characteristics, I think, made them just magnify them into history that'll, almost like Michael Jordan, there'll never be another one you can't beat, in my eyes.
And 20 years later, Clay's got a chance to tie that 8 gold buckles.
I know, ain't that cool? Yeah. He's my pick, so we'll see how it goes. All right, well, I enjoyed visiting with you. It's good to see from a different perspective, and thanks for coming on Keyed Up Rodeo, and look forward to seeing you all down the road.
Thank you.
Thank you.